Good afternoon. Welcome to Aggie Nation, powered by the Eagle, Aubrey Bloom, Robert Cessna. We're brought to you by MSC Opus. Check out all the great events coming to the season that dreams are made of at mscopus.org. Lots of great shows still to come this season, so check that out, mscopus.org. You can give us a call, 693-1150, or you can text us, 229-1939. Where to even begin, Steve? We've got a lot going on the show. Steven will join us later. Steve McGee always joins us on Monday to give his thoughts, and he'll join us later on in the show. But let's start with this. A&M's changes are coming on the offensive side at A&M. And a year ago, I don't know that if you just said a year ago, A&M's going to go 8-4, but their offense is going to be the reason they lose 3 out of the 4 games, I would say. I mean, certainly they weren't. The defense was bad in certain games, but I don't think those games cost A&M much. I think most of it was the offense being bad in big games. That's not what any of us ever thought we'd be saying about a Kevin Sumlin run team, but that's where they are right now. The offense just wasn't good enough.
Well, it's perplexing because that's why he was hired. He was hired because what he was able to do at the University of Houston, his pedigree as offensive coordinator here at A&M. He took over for Babers in 2002. What he's able to go learn under Stoops at Oklahoma. And for A&M to struggle as badly as they have on offense this year at times. And I understand they have young quarterbacks, but now they also have a quarterback that started 14, 15 games. So at some point, you're not young anymore. You have an established receiver in Josh Reynolds, and I understand he's the only veteran, you might say, they have, so to speak. But then you start looking, and it is perplexing. I go back to the offensive line. I'm going to start, and we're going to hop around. I don't know what you got planned, but, the offensive line, I don't know moving forward what they do to, I say it starts with the offensive line. That's me. Now, you might disagree, and a lot of people say, well, it's quarterback play, but, it's hard. I guess I like to sit down and film sometime and have someone talk to us, and of course, I guess everybody would like that. But I thought a lot of times Saturday night, Kyle Allen was just running for his life, or he had to make a decision in the split second, or he's going to get the snot kicked out of him.
Yeah, I think if you're Kevin Sumlin and you're sitting down and you're figuring out the changes you're going to have to make this offseason, I don't think anybody's safe on offense. I don't think there's a particular group.
How can anybody be safe?
The only group I guess would be wide receivers, that's only because they haven't had a whole lot of chances to fail. I mean, even that group. And
I don't know if they're getting off the line of scrimmage at times.
Yeah.
I can't watch 4 receivers, a quarterback, and the lineman at the same time.
Well, and the thing about the wide receivers is, even though I don't even know that they're an exception, I'm saying they're a possible exception, but they're the only group that's been publicly thrown under the bus by the coaching staff this season.
About the 50-50 balls.
Yeah, so maybe they're not safe either. Like I said, it's a full systems breakdown on offense, and we saw it on Saturday. I mean, they had one great drive, which was mostly one really good play.
3 plays at the most.
And
other than that, they were painful to watch Saturday night. If you were an offensive, the whole game was, if you're an offense, what's that word, a Scotio or whatever, if you're a connoisseur of offense, watching Brandon Harris throw the ball, then watching Kyle Allen at times try to run for his life, try to find a receiver real quick, and then LSU people just leveling A&M offensive players. When you stop and break it down, we all have it. It's like they had 250 yards offense, and the last 3 opponents they had was over 400 yards easy against that LSU defense. I mean, that's not the Green Bay Packers. I know they're good.
No, they're. I don't even know that they're good. The LSU defense has been pretty good, and they absolutely shut down the A&M offense on Saturday.
I'm old school. I've got excellent, good, average, and poor. So
okay.
A lot of people have these.
I do a great, really good.
Yeah, just
good,
something really
pretty good.
They're good. They're good enough to win. They're good enough to win 7-8 games. I mean, that's who they are. But I felt like I'm watching that game, if A&M and LSU would play 10 times, I think LSU might win 8 just because Fournette's going to get loose a few times. And I don't know if A&M, when I was watching Saturday night, I asked myself, how many plays in 1,000 would A&M score if you gave them 1,000 plays and they had a punt every time? I mean, they just weren't doing anything.
They weren't doing anything, and then the things they tried to do, you know, one thing that was probably frustrating for fans in the second half, the running game wasn't all that bad.
No, it wasn't.
But the problem was it wasn't good enough to lean on. So what they would do is they'd run it on first and second down, they'd gain like 3 yards, and then they'd gain 3 more yards, and then it's third and four, and you've got to throw it, and it doesn't work. So why not just go ahead and throw it 3 times, I think was one thing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, this is a full systems breakdown, and I know we could talk specifics about the LSU game, but I mean, really, what's the point? I mean, we're talking about the full season now.
Full season.
It's the first Monday after the regular season is over, and the simple truth is A&M's offense not only did not live up to expectations, it flat out wasn't very good in big games this year. And I know it's a little bit unfair because in retrospect, the Mississippi State game was a pretty good game. It was a big game for A&M as far as ranking in the conference goes, and Arkansas was, and the offense was okay in those games, but it wasn't the dominating force that it's supposed to be.
In the offense, then you look what happened is, and I was thinking this driving over the show. If you want to give Sumlin, the team, whatever credit, hey, Arizona State, Arkansas, Mississippi State, these were all games that they could have lost, but they won. So I give them credit. Those teams might have a lot better season if they'd have beat A&M, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Arizona State. Look where they're at if they'd have beat A&M. Now that being said, you get those big wins, but you don't build on them. The last game of the year, you're playing, quote, your rival, a wounded rival, a team that's not playing very well, and you can't get anything on offense against them. So what I see, the offense didn't improve from week 1 to week 2, week 3, week 4, week 3, the whole way to week 12. I don't see a better offensive line, to me, just as a fan, tell me if I'm different, in week 12 than I saw in week 1. I don't think the offensive line's any better, maybe.
No, the offensive line's not better. The offense isn't better. The quarterback's not better. And I think that's kind of where the thing comes from. And I want to frame this around the fact that A&M's not a bad team. A&M is a pretty good team. They won 8 games.
8-4.
They're going to go to a bowl game that's going to be maybe decent. You know, they're not a bad football team. But you're not paying $5 million to be decent. You're not paying 1.4 to a defensive coordinator to be okay.
You're not close to a championship team. And Les Miles hit on it. I think what Les Miles said applies for A&M. If you're in this to win 8 or 9 games, hey, it's a great season. Go have a beer on me and say, man, oh man, going to the Texas Bowl. A&M improved 1 game this year. They're going to be 9-4. But if you think you want to win championships, A&M's not close right now. A&M's got to get closer.
They're not close, and I think probably the reason that we're talking about firing everybody on here on the text line is that they're not closer than they were at this time last year. I mean, I don't think if you're a fan, you're going, man, we're still a long way away. You know, you're not all the offseason changes didn't bring you that much closer. You're 1 game better, and
here's what I want to say. We're saying a lot of different things. I'm not a football coach. That's why Kevin Sumlin gets paid. Maybe he needs to tweak just one thing. Maybe he needs to replace just one guy. Maybe he needs to clear the whole offensive staff. I don't get paid for that. He gets paid for that. His offense right now, to me, is not good enough. I'm not a football coach. All I see is the final product I write and I'm looking at. That was not a good offensive showing. I mean, not even average offensive showing. That was a bad offensive showing in week 12 in a big game. And what Aubrey said, hey, 8-4 is not chopped liver. I mean, but it's not sirloin steak either. Don't try to tell me. It's a little bit like going to a cheap burger place. It's okay. You get the best burger on the menu at a cheap place. I can do that. I'm a sports writer. But some people want to go to the Republic. That's not a Republic team we saw Saturday night.
Well, and if you go out, if you're going out with a girl who's really good looking, you say, hey, I want to go out on a nice date. Right. She gets all dressed up, and you say you're going out on a nice date, and y'all end up at Burger King.
Or Sonic, the drive-thru.
That's not what she had in mind, and that's what the A&M
That's where A&M's at right now. They're going through Sonic.
Yeah, which I love Sonic, but that's not what I thought we were going.
That isn't where everybody thought they were going when the season started.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, and I think that's what the fans are upset about. And a lot of y'all are sending texts.
They're not paying for Sonic either.
No. You don't pay $485 million to build a brand new fast food restaurant. You want it to compete for championships. And the thing is that, like we said, I don't think they're any closer now than they were a year ago. I don't know that they have an answer on offense. It'd be one thing if you came out of this season going, the season wasn't quite as good as it looked like maybe it was going to be there for a while, but A&M knows they've got a quarterback, or A&M knows they've got an offensive line, or what. But there's not that. I don't know that they're any closer. I don't know that the quarterback situation, and I'd say it's even worse off going into this offseason, going into this bowl season. It's not the offseason yet. But I don't know that A&M is any more solid at quarterback than they were this time a year ago.
I agree, because I was watching that game, and I said going in, and I like to say this to myself, whatever, if A&M wins this game by 2 touchdowns, and Kyle Allen has a good, smart game, throws for a couple scores, goes 20 or 30, 220, 40 yards, and they win, hey, they're moving forward. Big win. He's established a quarterback on the heels of Vanderbilt. This offense might be ready to go places. But no, I didn't see that. I saw a quarterback that was frustrated a lot, was hurried, was under pressure. After the 3 previous quarterbacks against that defense had success the last 3 weeks, he didn't have success. So you ask yourself again, the texters I'm sure are, you're on the other side of the deal. Why? Why did A&M not have success? And that's the answer that Kevin Sumlin has to come up with.
Let's go ahead and catch our first break. I know we were all over the place there in that first segment, but we want, but y'all's texts are too. And I think when we come back, we'll just start diving into the text. And I think so. Hit us up 229-1939. What do y'all want to talk about? What are your big complaints or your questions or whatever y'all want to hit on? Let us know. 229-1939. We'll come back. We'll talk about it. It's Aggie Nation, powered by the Eagle here on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone FM 102.7.